then I was sitting there and the other dude was like sitting in front of me, and everyone's sitting down, like sitting there and talking down the front.
Bring in the second half of the evening.
Yeah!
For the main act, Liam Daly. He's hiding behind the curtain. He's the man that made all of this happen tonight. He's organised it. He got my useless arse into gear to make this actually happen. And he's just a great guy. He's been a good friend for quite a while. And yeah, this has turned out to be so far so good. Fuck it. So the one gripe I had is he definitely curated the evening and got a bunch of comedians that will make him look good. Like you got the intelligence obsessed, barely autistic. I mean, barely too autistic to function person to open. Then you got a guy that's nearly dead to be the second act. And then he got me, who couldn't even get my own mother to come. She was like, if I was going to drive 2 hours for you, it would have been before you were born to get an abortion. But seriously, Liam is here, he's out the back. It's been I've actually delved deeper into his life tonight. I got to meet his mother, who is dressed the same as him, wherever she is. Talk about a edible. But yeah, she's a great woman. I got to ask her a question I've always wanted to know the answer to tonight. I said, Mrs. Daly, when you were giving birth to Liam, in that moment, do you think he realised that it would be the only time he was ever going to be inside a woman? That was horrible. He's a suave guy though. He dresses well, he dresses beautifully. He's wearing a nice leather jacket tonight. But instead of looking suave, he kind of looks like a dude that dates your grandma after she's got like 3 dead husbands. It's just hanging out like, I really love your grandma, mate. That's what I see anyway. My jumper's gone. Thought I'd get the guns out. Someone needed to see some eye candy. Alright. I'm going to bring on Liam. Are you ready, Liam? Alright. Give a round of applause for Liam.
Guess I'll just have to take the leather jacket off then. Yeah, no, it would be inappropriate, right, to, jacket off in front of everyone. You have no idea, Moritz. Strap yourself in. Because there's a bar that's being raised and I've got to jump right over it. But you know what? It is good to see so many people here tonight. I mean, I can barely see you because of this freaking light that's in my face. It freaking looks like I'm going to be beamed back to where I actually came from. I'll get to that shortly. But I mean, so many people here. Let me hear you woo, let me hear you scream, let me hear you, if you actually managed to find a car park this evening. No, I mean actually in the vicinity. Yeah, like 2 people. Exactly. Not just over in the bloody other area, I guess that's why they say Brisbane's a great place, especially around here in Paddington. It's a place where you can park outside in front of your own home or business and still get fines. I mean, Brisbane itself, especially having to work in the city. Who here has to work in the city? Anyone here work in Brisbane? Where do you guys work? You work for Telstra? Do you work for Telstra? Take a stand, the both of you. Because they can't see you. Let's see how racist Australians really are. Which one of them works for Telstra? It's for you. Hope I have a job on Monday. But Brisbane, I don't even know why they bother calling them parking spots in Brisbane. They might as well just call them G-spots. I mean, think about it. Parking spots and G-spots are just as difficult to find, and they're never in the same place twice. Taking a few people a few seconds to get the G-spot. A bit quicker than usual, I know. Here's another fun fact about parking spots and G-spots. When it pertains to women, they take their time finding them. Men, we just want to get in them as quickly as possible. I don't even care, it's like it's a tight fit, I don't care. It's cute, straight on the signs. It's a seedy part of town, just so what? Of course, there are some people who cheat the system, flout the rules, park in disabled spots without a permit or disability. Now, this has caused a lot of vigilantism and a lot of uproar, especially online, But personally, I think we should give them a break, because anyone who parks in a disabled spot without a permit or disability is clearly retarded. And that counts. Officer comes up to the window. Excuse me, sir. You where you're parked at a disabled spot? Oh, is this a disabled spot, bruh? You know what? I'm going to let you off on a technicality. What about the people that are that overweight? They get disability permits. And then they get to park closer to shopping centres. Is that really doing them any favours? Shouldn't their parks be designated over the far sides of the parking lot? Well, burn those calories, earn your way to the food court. Because we all know that's where they're going anyway. I do have a friend who actually has cerebral palsy and confined to a wheelchair and actually works in aged care. And that never gets an applause. So everyone's like, so what, I gotta work Monday too. It's 2019, equal rights, everyone's gotta work, pay your taxes, etc. But she's the nicest person I've ever met. And one of her most admirable qualities, I believe, is that she's never run into or over anyone with her mobility scooter. And yet you see people out there, you've seen it on YouTube as well, you've probably seen it in the news. There are people on their scooters driving down the road, blocking up traffic, barreling through doors like a gangster, tearing it up on the sidewalk, people jump out of the way in fear. It's like they've gone out recruiting. And you've got to ask yourself, that person in a mobility scooter, is it because they have a disability? Or because they were hit by a person in a mobility scooter? It's the vampire effect. Get bitten by a vampire, become a vampire. Get hit by a person in a mobility scooter, become a person in a mobility scooter. Here's a legitimate question. What's the procedure for when a person with a disability parks in a pram parent's parking spot and doesn't have any kids? Are there any politically correct prima donna pram parents that are willing to take on that argument? Just walk them and go, excuse me, do you have a kid? Do you have a pram? Oh my God, you are so inconsiderate. You have no idea how hard it is to be a parent. Oh yeah, compared to you, it's a walk in the park. Oh! Look at that. And speaking of politically correct and walking, in Victoria, maybe you've heard this, the Victorian government went out of their way to change the pedestrian crosswalk signal to a woman in a dress for gender equality. The first question I gotta ask is, did they just assume the gender of a crosswalk signal? Now this is where I consider myself to be a progressive human being, because when I see the pedestrian crosswalk signal, I don't see a man or a woman. I just see a friggin' light! But as a man, it does raise a few concerns regarding the female crosswalk signal. What if she's not turned on? What if she starts sending me mixed signals? What if she gives me the green signal, then halfway through changes her mind, gives me the red signal? Do I still come? Do I stop? What do I do? So the people clapping over there, does it make me a sexist if I jaywalk? But you know what? It does have one benefit, the female crosswalk signal. It can help to curb jaywalking because, I mean, let's face the facts here. Nobody wants to cross a woman when she's on the red. Good night, everybody. Anyone who wants to argue with me online later, that's based on science and I stand by it. There's a few people who know me here, a few people who don't. For those who don't, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Liam, and people think that's short for William. It isn't. It's short for Valium. Well, my mother was a chemist and my father grew up in the 60s. Hence the name, Valium Daily. name is Daly. I get that from my father's side. My mother's last name is Punchard. And she never wanted to get married because if she did, her last name would have legally been known as Mrs. Punchard. Sad, funny but true, and that is actually her over there. She could vouch for the whole thing. I mean, I would have put a birth certificate on the screen there, but I'd have to follow that with a death certificate. Because that's the only way I'd ever get away with that. A few people thinking I'm picking on my mum right now, don't worry. Everything was planned. Unlike me, But you know what, it could be worse. Some people are named after where they're conceived. I mean, wouldn't it suck if that's why you were named Ali? Do we got any Alis here tonight? No, that's all. By the way, I do have another confession to make to everyone, even though my nickname, my name, joke, yeah, Valium, but I don't drink, I don't smoke, and I don't do drugs. So I'm un-Australian by definition. Because Australians often do one of those three things. Often all three at the same time. Am I right, guys? Show up to work tomorrow. Call in sick because I had to do the urine test. It's like, oh, I'm getting down with a bad case of good CFI. But believe it or not, I am actually a bogan. Perhaps the most well-dressed, well-presented bogan in all of existence. That's why no one's laughing, because they're like, you're not fooling anyone! Sort of car to drive. See the oil trail, you get to see where he lives. Check out his bank account, see how cheap that bastard is. Some people at the back still don't believe me. Well, then allow me to give you a history of my people, the Bogans. See, we were, of course, outcasts from, Brisbane, Gold Coast, all these other places, because of the way we spoke, the way we dressed, the way we acted. So we had to band together to form a group of Bogans. Or as the collective noun is known as, a Logan. And that is, of course, where I'm from, Logan City. Wouldn't have picked it, right? And then some other people, it's like, oh, yeah, everywhere's got their pros and cons. Yeah, in Logan, we got all the cons! In fact, the only pros we got are pro rugby players. And that's because they're experts at running away from people while being chased while they got an object in their arms. Just let that one sit in for a minute there. Allow me to tell you a bit more about Logan. See, right now, there are children being sung Silent Night to go to sleep at night. I couldn't go to sleep unless I heard sirens at night. Instead of counting sheep, I was counting domestics. Childhood, don't even bother. It's like, that's the sad reality. Here's another fun fact. You know how in your neighbourhoods you used to play tag, you're in? In mine, we play stag, you're in! And then we look for other players. Not yet. I'll be seeing you later. You won't see me, I will see you. Logan City. And you know how in your neighbourhoods, you've got the friendly neighbour. Yeah, we've got the friendly neighbours too. In ours, you'd have a beer, lemon tools, ask him, oh yeah, can I borrow your Phillips head? Yeah, sure, just wipe it off after you use it, mate. Of course, there were some children that used to play cops and robbers. All the way through till adulthood. And allow me to tell you about the mayor of Logan. He was arrested for drink driving, domestic assault, and electorate fraud. The guy's been in jail, and to this day, he is still the mayor of Logan City. yourself with a criminal history, you'll get a job in Logan. Forget your resume, just bring your cred. Just bring your creds. Your real creds, your stupid creds, the ones that counts. Remember going to the public parks and they're very generous, you know, to all the diabetics, what with all the used disposable needle boxes in all the public bathrooms. And the exercise equipment in the open yard setting gives you a real prison yard experience right there. Of course, there were some disparaging, you know, negatives, like I had a roofer over our house once to fix the roof. Yeah, that does actually happen sometimes in Logan. We do fix stuff as well. Came into her house, you know, locked the keys in his car, and he said to me immediately, "Don't suppose you know how to unlock a locked car, do you, mate?" And of course I said, "Well, mate, of course I don't. Just leave it there overnight, someone will unlock it for you." Logan City. A place where I once saw a mother go into an adult store with her underage kids. Well, to be fair, the kid did have to learn about the birds and the vibrating bees at some points. The people over this side are laughing, clearly they can relate. The people over this side, not so much, and I know why. You're not concerned that the mother went into the adult store with a kid. You're just thinking, what was he doing watching people going in and out of an adult store? Moving on. Never been in an adult store myself. Who here has been in an adult store, by the way? All the people from Telstra, of course, you're used to getting people screwed. You're used to screwing people over, so why not? Use some protection while you're doing this. I'm getting fired on Monday. God, what were we even talking about the adult store? You could probably do my set now. You know it off by heart more than me. That's verbatim. Ah, goodness. So the adult store, I've never been in there myself, but I hear they have change rooms in there. I mean, so what's that like? Instead of trying it on to see if it fits, what, try it? See if it fits. Guess it would make it even more awkward than ever before to have to ask the sales clerk for a bigger size. Anyone here on a Tinder date tonight? I know, appropriate segue, right? Go from the adult store to the Tinder dates. That is the usual procedure, isn't it? Just as many left swipes as me, perhaps. It's quite sad. I will say, Tinder for me is a lot like sex ed. When you think about it, you use the thumb to swipe. If one person got that reference, she's on the Tinder. Just for recreational purposes, just for a laugh. Exactly. Of course, then there's Grindr for the gay community, but why do they call it Grindr? Shouldn't it be called Grinding? And for the life of me, I can't find any lesbian dating apps. Don't even know where to look. Might as well just call it Glitter. That's good. It's always a good feeling when people get the glitter. At least I think so. And I think to myself, where do we go from here? And that's where I think to myself, would dating be great if it was like Paywave? Make casual encounters a lot easier, just tap it and go. At least it'll tell you what your options are, tap, swipe, or inserts. Get a receipt after that transaction, so at least consent's a lot easier. It's like, you didn't sleep with her last night. Yes, I did. I think we've already picked on Telstra enough. Let's move on to the next group of people that tend to screw people. I mean, think about it. When you think about it, police, why don't they have Paywave lights? Let's just streamline the whole process, make it easier for us. They're going to pull you over anyway. You don't know why. What's the difference? Just pull you over, yeah, good, have a good day, get you off in a couple of minutes. And of course, it'd make it easier for the the parking officers, safer for them. Just tap and go. It's just like, I was only there for 30 seconds. Yeah, so was I. And while we're at it, why don't we make catching speeding motorists more fun? Let's put some laser tag equipment on all our cars. I mean, if you get a speeding fine after being caught, you're like, oh, you got me. I mean, they've already got the laser tag equipment right there while they're trying to, just turn it into a Grand Theft Auto version of laser tag right there. Of course, there was some controversy surrounding the police lately, but one incident that's particularly intrigued me was there was once an incident where a police officer used the police database, to look up a woman's information for his mates. Quite the wingman right there. Now, immediately when I read this, I thought to myself, I had no idea that the police and white pages had merged. So whenever you dial 000, they'll ask you, are you here to report a crime, or are you after directory assists? And here's my immediate disclaimer to this one for anyone who's not laughing. Any police here that are the good guys, the good cops, you're exempt from this discussion, so please don't go looking me up in your database later. And secondly, for anyone who's still in groaning mode, this police officer got the information for his mates, who was stalking the woman, who happened to have a restraining order against him. So, clearly a couple of guys had never heard of Facebook stalking before. I mean, think about it. Facebook stalking is perfectly legal, and everybody does it. A few people are laughing over there. You know exactly what I'm talking about right there. You wouldn't know half the things you know about the people sitting next to you right now if not for Facebook stalking. Guys wouldn't remember birthdays, let alone your birthday, if not for Facebook stalking. You poke someone on Facebook, that's just a thing. Poke someone in real life, have to register as a sex offender. Write on someone's wall on Facebook, oh, they're just saying I love you. Write that on their fence. I mean, let's just start with vandalism and work our way up from the list of charges there. By the way, that actually did happen to someone I knew once. She took him back. Meanwhile, I'm still single. Chivalry is dead. Ah, goodness. But if there is one gripe that I had with the police back in Logan, it would have had to have been their call-out time. I once had to call out the cops because, a couple of neighbours playing a game of stab your right in the middle of the streets. They said they'd be there in 30 minutes. No joke. They came 1 week later. Yeah, it's not like it's an emergency over here! But still, even 30 minutes for a call-out time. I mean, who here knows who else has a call-out time of 30 minutes? They're on the money right there. Pizza. Exactly. They guarantee that if your pizza's not delivered in 30 minutes, you get your money back. No way you're getting your tax dollars back if the police don't arrive on time, and tell you that. But here's a way to test out the effectiveness of the police call-out time in your area. Call police and pizza to the same location, see who gets there first. Think about it. If the police get there before the pizza arrives, then you can say, congratulations, it was a test, you passed. Your reward will be here shortly. And, well, if the pizza arrives before the pizza police do, then at least you've got something to eat while you're being shoved in the back of a paddy wagon for filing false police reports. And while you're in the back of that paddy wagon, you can say to them, hey, we love us. At least they bring the bacon. Oh, shots fired, am I right? Unnecessary shots, yeah? Well, at least when I take unnecessary shots, no one gets hurt! So I'd slip in a police shooting joke right there. That went over a few people's heads, that's okay. And so did that reference as well. It's a double entendre, I don't even know. By the way, has anyone here ever been caught using their mobile phone by the police while driving? You have? Oh, come on. Don't you know the rules? Don't you know the rules about using your mobile phone while you're driving? Playing with your mobile phone is like playing with yourself. You're not supposed to get caught while you're doing it. You know what you've done? You've turned the mobile phone in a car into a cop's G-spots. So now whenever you touch it, they come for you. God blimey. Of course, there are some people these days, they're so fixated on their smart devices, they can't live without them. May as well just be smart devices for dumb people. You know, smart everything, smart fridge, smart computer, smart, I don't know, there's all these devices, you know, and they're so fixated on their phones that they're walking off of train platforms and into traffic. It's like it's gone from natural selection to digital selection. And who here remembers the Pokemon Go fads? Oh yeah, am I right? It's not real! It's not real, and yet you've got people out there literally chasing the dragon. They are literally chasing the dragon. It now doesn't matter